Hey everybody, hope everybody can hear me. It's got a few people in here now. Let me know that you can hear me. Excuse me. Let me know. And all right, we got that thing up and running. And let me know loud and clear. Thank you. BN132, what's shaking? Not a whole lot right now. I'm actually at home, and I'm gonna be home for at least through next weekend, and then I'm gonna get back out there. Um, I'm actually home to help my boys. They're running other businesses right now, and one of actually both of them need a little bit of my TLC, and one is growing pretty quick, and my boys need my help with that. So I'm gonna have to hang in there and help them. I like doing this thing, with the trucks and driving. I love it, and the company and everything. However, my business comes first. I needed to take some time to get that squared away. So that's what I'm doing. When you're going on operator, they may end up pushing me out pretty quick. I'm taking too much time off right now. In fact, I had to go get all of my things out of my truck because I'm taking so much time. But um, my stuff comes first, and my family comes first, and what I'm doing to you know build a legacy for my family. That's number one, and um, if they don't invite me back too easy when it's time for me to go back to work, then I might be on operating real fast. I don't mind doing that. In fact, you guys know I'm gonna move this a little bit. You guys know that when I got started driving, my um, goal was to help my son. I have three boys, um, 30, 28, 25. That's my boys. And the 28-year old, he's 29, I'm sorry. The mother one's 31. He's 29, and my 29-year-old is going, Dad, I need you to help me build my trucking business because he does heavy haul. In fact, on my page, there's a red truck and that's his truck, and he does really well, and but he wanted to build multiple trucks, and his other brothers, my other two sons, well, they're working my other two businesses. One's real estate and one's youth sports marketing, and they're doing real good. So he says, Dad, why come he ain't out here helping me get my thing going? I said, well, I don't know anything about trucking, so I'm going to get started in trucking first. And that's how I got started. And I went with Swift because Swift helped me get to the end game the quickest. And I ignored all of the horribleness people were talking about Swift, and I went with them anyways. And I have zero regrets. All that crap people was talking about Swift the whole time, I found was a bunch of bullshit, which I figured it was in the first place. You can find anything negative with anybody. You can find negative stuff with chocolate. They call fat people and diabetes and shit. But guess what? Chocolate's still good, man. I'm down with it. And so you can't just listen to anybody just tell you anything at any time. And I went with Swift, and I've been happy ever since. I really have. It's a really cool company to work with, and they make some very very good money. And but at the end of the day, I really went there because my boys needed me to help them, help him. One of my sons needed me to help him to build a trucking company. So, you know, as this thing with you guys, the Ubiest, as this thing has you guys have really helped me to build 50 plus trucker journey up to something that I'm thoroughly enjoying, and it has helped me to do really well at the company. And so my son was like, "Oh man, this dude, you shit turned golden. Now you ain't gonna come out here." And I kind of feel him. I understand because it's hard for me to get away from this and go owner operator with him doing so well with the company. But at the end of the day, I probably will be heading down to the dealership and buying me a truck real soon. Actually, between all of us, my real goal was to get my 2 years in with Swift, and then possibly even building a small fleet inside of Swift, and making it work that way. That way, I would be able to have to leave the company, and I would be building something for my son too. He can take over. But at the end of the day, I have no partners, not even with my other two businesses. It's just me, and I want it that way. I need it that way. That way, I can move my dynasty over to my boys, right? In my family, and there's nobody else can say they own any bit of what I got, And so I just do it for my boys and my family, and so that being said, building it inside of Swift may be a big problem. And so, because you want to own it all. At the end of the day, you may own the equipment, which y'all know I'm not going to lease nothing. If I'm going to buy a truck, I'm going to go down to the dealership and buy a truck. But even then, they control the freight and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you had to get your own authority. So where did the 2 years come in? And well, originally, what I was going to do was get. I was going to go through a company here in Texas, local company that helps you get your CDL. So you have all you have to do is a regular driver license. You want to get a CDL so you can go drive semi trucks. Well, there's a company a little bit north and west of Houston that do that, and you got like a 5-day deal. They take it. You get your permit, then you go up there and they drive you around a little bit and show you how to do it. Then they take it to the DMV. You pass this, you got CDL, right? That was my main goal. That's what I was going to do first. Well, Autumn told me, "Hey man, you can do that. However, even you do that, you still got to go to the school. And the reason why they want you to go to school is they want to ensure that you got enough training before you can get on the mentor's truck." So I get it. They want to make sure you drive. And so, and they want to make sure that you got your license in an accredited way. So I didn't do that. But my main goal was to do that, get my license, start driving with my son, to get my experience driving with my son, right? And then once I felt like I could handle it on my own, then I would go buy me a truck. And then we was going to drive like tandem, he would drive. And he has a contract with the government where he moves military equipment. And in fact, on that picture that's on my heading at the top of 50 plus truckers journey, that truck is his, and then there's like a step deck with a crate on the back, and that's military equipment inside of there. And there are tanks and just army vehicles, guns and all kind of crazy, just badass stuff, army killing and stuff. Love it. But by the way, I've never been in the military, but anyways, that was the goal, and I was gonna buy a truck, and I was gonna follow him around, right? And then I got started this thing here to get a little experience. I couldn't do it the way I wanted, but after I got my license and I started driving, I went solo. I had my son start to dig into the insurance, and the insurance company won't take me, not even with regular freight, because my CDL is not a year old, so I couldn't really get my own authority and get the insurance without just being the amount being crippling. Okay, can you get it? Yeah, and I bet you guys have seen other YouTubers, in trucking YouTubers, I'm going to get my own authority and go out there and go, well, 50, these guys are getting it in a year and or less, and they, in the industry, and they getting their own authority and insurance and all that good stuff. Well, yeah, it can be done. However, if you listen to the wrong people because you don't know business, then you'll do something like that, which is what these folks are doing. And if you notice, a lot of them have failed, or they're not growing, or you see them saying, "Oh, my truck's in the shop." Every other time you see them making a video, and that's because they're unprepared, and too much of their profit goes into keeping that business going because you have to keep your insurance paid. The insurance costs you, ridiculous amount of your income, and then the fuel is costing you another ridiculous amount. Eventually, within the truck note that you're leasing a truck, then people are doing it. He said, "I'm not leasing, I'm buying a truck." Guess what? Guys, listen to me. If the title is not in your hands, in your safe, someone else has that title. And that someone else is financing that truck. So it doesn't really matter if the document is called lease or if that document is called payment plan. Doesn't make any difference. A loan, it doesn't make any difference. A loan is going to definitely be cheaper, but either way, you don't own the truck, right? So you're still making payments. If you're still making payments, it's still costing you much, much, much more money than it would have ordinarily, if you just own the truck outright. And so you have to kind of do the math. And then if you're really, really, really high on the insurance, brother, you talking about a lot of trouble. You're talking about slow growth because there's too many hands in the pot. So it's not reasonable. I can go buy the trucks. That's not a problem. I can go buy a brand new truck. I go buy 50 brand new trucks if I wanted to, but that's, horse of a different color. We're way away from doing something like that. But two, a new truck for myself, a new truck for my son, and my other two boys, they have their pilot license where they can follow us, the lead truck and the follow truck, those pilot cars. My boys went to school, my other two sons, so they can do that. They can follow us. No experience. They got zero experience. So, part of this next year, 2020, is them getting some experience with that. Because, another thing, even if we, so we're going to do the wind energy. Wind energy, guys, the big windmills, you see them driving down the road, the big blades. Well, you have to have like a gajillion years of experience before the wind energy will let you pull those blades. But the windmills have those big caps that go on in. You'll see them on trucks. They're kind of like sitting upside down to point up. And then other trucks have the ring that holds the blades in place. Well, the ring and the cone, we can pull those, right? So I went to look into it. Okay, cause I'm like this before I jump out, right? So I call these people, find out what's going on. Well, the pilot cars also have to have a certain amount of experience before they will allow the team, to get out there. So even that takes a while. Some of them other boys, they're very busy right now. In fact, I just left the fields. We have softball games going on right now, and my boys are at the field while I'm here talking to y'all. But when the season is over, middle of next month, well, I say that middle of next month. This is going to be the end of baseball season. Generally, when school ends for the Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, and all that, at that period of time is when those games end. But somewhere around about the middle of January, the boys will go on the road, and they're going to do some pilot training and stuff with another company. But I've just found, by taking my time and not just jumping into this thing, that if you take your time and dig into it and get some information, you'll find there's a lot more to it than what you think. So you go and acquire these trucks, and just because you can drive and pull freight down the road. You think, okay, I can just go start a business and get going. I'm an owner operator. Even if you have the money, to go buy the equipment, and I do. You can't buy the knowledge, and you can't buy somebody to allow you to pull that freight that really pays the money, because they're going to want a certain person to do that. And so, 50, why you rambling? Well, I'm actually talking about the answering the question about the owner operator. And yeah, because I want to do it. I truly do. I just want to make sure that I do it, and you guys are following me. I want to make sure I'm doing it right for you, right? All right. So, Grilla says family always comes first. That's right. That's right. As a man, especially a man with boys, our goal as men should be to put a positive example of what a man's supposed to be in front of our boys. They're supposed to be able to look at us and say, my dad is a model for what I need to be when I become a man. That's what our responsibility is as fathers, as men, as patriarchs of our family. And we want to, be good examples for them. However, and most people, want to get to a point where they're financially secure and all that good stuff. Well, I passed that a long time ago. Dude, I don't have to work if I don't want to. However, once you get to a point where you financially free and you can do whatever you want to financially, then it becomes a different issue. And that is to build a legacy for your family. You can pass on money to them, but money goes away fairly quickly if the person that you pass it on to don't know what it's about. So that's what I'm doing right now with my boys and my businesses. So yes, family comes first. We got to get on that. As you may know, I run for Swift. The only thing that I would have to say is negative about Swift is the lack of communication in office. Oh my God. Man, let me tell y'all something. I can guarantee you, if I was working this weekend, I would already have Friday, Saturday, and Sundays loads already dispatched in my Qualcomm. Well, they're not dispatched, but they're on my trucks. Basically, we call it stacking, okay? I'm stacked for the weekend. You know why? Man, the communication is absolutely zero after whatever time zone you're in at about 2:30-ish until about 5 o'clock the next morning. Man, you getting somebody on the phone is absolutely torturous. You may as well. You got a better chance at reaching somebody on the phone. You got a better chance starting a fire and using smoke signals in a blizzard than to make a phone call and try to get somebody on the phone. Then if you send a Qualcomm message, oh my freaking God, several hours somebody gonna respond to you. It's gotten worse, man. It's bad. It's bad. And yeah, the communication in the office sucks. Horrible. And I hope they do something about that real fast, man. I'm really bad with that. I mean, really, I don't like that. I don't like it all. Heading to Gary on Wednesday for orientation. Do it, bro. The Gary and the Anna is pretty cool, man. They got their stuff together over there, so you should be okay. And if you have any question or anything, give me a shout. How big is a Swift intermodal? Pretty decent size, brother. And I don't believe that you're gonna be out of work. So definitely go for it. Barbecue Trucker. Hello from Central Texas. It's a wonderful place to be. I just love Texas. I just do. I hope, Barbecue Trucker, we have a good day today. It has been pretty wet, raining pretty good. And I actually thought that today was going to be a day where I was going to be able to get the boys come over and we was going to smoke a lot of meat and do a lot of barbecuing today. And as it turned out, the weather was okay, and I ended up getting some softball fields that are turf, and move all my games to the turf field. So they're actually playing today. So I won't be barbecuing this weekend, barbecue truck. I hope that you hope that you're making some bellies warm with the chili and some good stuff. Smoke signals. Yeah, Judd Harris. Brother, yeah, smoke signals. Let me tell you something, man. It used to be, and I'm going to tell you one thing that really, really got me about Swift when I was on my mentor's truck. My mentor had zero problems communicating with the driver leader. And I remember distinctively over the weekend, he called her. She was off work. He called her on her cell phone. She answered the phone. She said, "Hey, look, I'm at a position right now, but you give me a few minutes. I'm going to get to a position where I can call you back after I get to my laptop." In about 5, 6, 7 minutes, something like that. It was a very short period of time. She called him right back. She was on the line, she had her laptop, and she called him. And while he was on the phone, she fixed his issue on the phone right there. This was weekend. And I was like, man, this is just the bomb, So I got to get this. I mean, now I can't wait to get off and get it. I want this driver lead and everything. And it was sweet. It was good. And but I realized what was going on, and it was just I was getting stacked over the weekend, But if you get to a point where you're not, you're in trouble. And what happened was my driver leader was on vacation, and then I got a taste of it. This was when I was OTR. Then I went to Costco Dedicated, and when I got Costco Dedicated, no problem, because I mean that stuff is just boom, boom. I mean, it just keeps rolling, and but when I switched so that I can get a load coming home, then I'm not on Dedicated coming home. They have to change my code so I can get back to the house and put anything else on me, right? And that's when I started realizing how horrible it is. You don't notice it when you're dedicated, but when you OTR, which is the vast majority of everybody is, then you start realizing, man, the communication between the company, the in office, and the drivers over the weekend, and even during the week after hours. Holy cow! You're almost on your own, man. It gets that bad. So yeah, smoke signals could work better. Let me see what else I got here. Let me see. I was planning to go to Swift in Virginia in December. The only thing about it, well, Sean, he wants to go to Virginia, and I really can't say anything. I don't have enough experience with those terminals, and I've been there, but it's been a while because I spent the last 7 or so months, and I've only last week is only a year for me, so I've only been out there for a year with them, and the last almost 7 months I've been doing Costco Dedicated, so I don't get to go over there too much. It's been a little while since I've been there, so I don't want to tell you something, you go out there and go, man, Fitty, this ain't what you said. So I really don't want to say, but the terminal in Atlanta, that was the only terminal that I've ever had any real issues with. It's kind of crazy over there. It still ain't bad, but it's just not like I think it would be. So, but I've never had any problems with any of the other ones. So I believe you're gonna be just fine, my friend. I really do. Increase your volume, please. Well, I tell you what, brother. Right now, I am banging right at the top. And yesterday, I had my son come in here and set this up. As you can see, I'm doing what I didn't want to do. Remember, I told you I didn't want to have this thing in front of my face. But I had my son come over here and set all these things up, and it seems to be sounding really good. And I'm at the my composure is in the red every time I speak. However, I'm not clipping, and my volume level is green going into the yellow the closer I get to the mic. So if I get like right now, it's in the yellow, and you can hear it kind of distorted. So if I back off a little bit and keep it in the green, that means you guys should be getting a pretty good signal. So I'm hoping that this is working out for you. Flatbed gang, man, I'm gonna tell you, that is my next move. And it won't be with Swift right now. If I go flatbed with Swift, I am going to go flatbed pretty quick, guys. I don't really like to. I really don't like to say, what I'm gonna do until I'm, either doing it or it's about to happen in the next 5 minutes, because I don't want to mislead anybody. And so, in order for me to get to the point where I can do heavy haul, eventually it's what I want to do with my son. And you have to go through the steps, and flatbed is first, then step deck, and then RGN, and then on and on until you get up to where you can move some heavy stuff, right? So flatbed is next. But the reason I hadn't gone flatbed is because I'm not too particular about messing with those torps and chains and all that kind of craziness in the cold weather. I'm not too particular about doing it in 110 degrees heat either. So, the older you get, the more you don't really want to do all that kind of craziness. But that's a part of growth, and it's something that I'm going to have to do. But I definitely will not do it. If I had to do it either in the heat or do it in the cold, I prefer to do it in the heat. At least when the chains brush up against my leg, it's not hurting. So, yeah. I will be a part of the flatbed game before too long. Nice studio, like it. Thank you, sir. And this one is at home. I'm actually in my, one of my rooms at home. I have, of course, set up in Salt Lake, but in Pearland, Texas, which is only, 10 miles or so away from here, I have another studio, and in that studio is where I shoot that show for my youth sports business, and which is how I know how to, get all of this equipment and stuff, and how to make it work, is because, similar to this is what we have set up at the other business. So over there is pretty nice. There's a lot of good stuff over there. And, I could go over there and do a show over there, and it's pretty cool because it's got the big wall behind us, and then it's got another screen where the host and the coach can stand in front and they talk about the kids that are they're shooting a basketball or swinging a bat or something, and they can break down. It's like ESPN's thing. So it's a lot of money spent over there, but it really, 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 really looks nice, So eventually, I want to do something like that for trucking too, because I'm enjoying it. And my Baylor Bears just beat TCU in triple overtime. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of, I guess, I don't even want to say professional sports, but because the only reason why I watched it is because I was trying to understand coaching and things like that, and the dynamics. And then I started realizing the real deal the more I started to get into youth sports and the hierarchy on how to get a youth, a high school player onto a college field, playing for college, and then eventually from college to the next level. Then I realized that, you can't really learn a whole lot about how the game actually works by watching those coaches and things, because they really don't know what the hell they're doing. Not they don't know. They know how to coach a team to a win, but but the way the games is run, they don't know. And I had to find it out the hard way. So I quit really watching a lot of professional sports until the playoffs and stuff like that. But college, however, you see a different level when you go watch college, or if you like baseball, go watch some minor league games, stuff like that. You don't a lot of those, some of it's kind of sloppy because they still learning, but they putting their heart into it, man, because they really want to go to the next level. The same thing you get um, when you watch college sports, and Baylor's been around a good long while, and I actually went to a junior college in Waco when I graduated from high school, and we used to go to Baylor quite a bit. One of my cousins went to Baylor, and so I was in a junior college in Waco while he was at Baylor, and then I would go over there because he of course has student ID, and Baylor tends to have a pretty damn nice cafeteria, but you can't get in there unless you got a student badge. But could you just get me in there? I prefer doing the heat and the cold. Yeah, John said he preferred working in the heat rather than working in the cold, and I'm with you. I'm with you. It seems like everything hurts 1,000 times more when you get impacted in the cold, and I can just imagine, dropping a end of a chain or something, or come along or something on my leg, on my toe. Oh my God, they had to call an ambulance for me. Are you going to try to go with Maverick? Well, I'm going to stay, where I'm at until I go to an owner operator, and I say that because they've Swift has done me well, man, and I just don't find anything wrong with them. They have a flatbed division, and until led in a different way, I'm gonna stay with them. They just treated me well, man, and I love my driver lady, one of the sweetest girls you ever want to meet. Oh man, she is gold. She really, really is. And I don't want to mess my stuff up by, switching companies, and then, just so I can go to a better flatbed-ish thing, and then wish I had done something different. Wish I'd stayed. And I remember being in the office, visiting with Autumn, and she said, "Well, I want you to look at this," and she showed me a screen, and on the screen was just code for people who were trying to come to work at Swift, and it was double lines, top to bottom, single space lines. I mean, just boom, boom. I mean, it had to be 400 names. It had to be. And these were old driver codes because they were people who were actively trying to get back into Swift after they left, thinking the grass was green on the other side. And now, I'm not saying that they're the only thing out there, but a whole lot of people done left and wish they didn't. And so I'm going to stay until I got everything I need to do my own thing. And do you have to have hazmat to do intermodal? No, because not all intermodal has hazmat in it. That stuff just coming from overseas, from what I imagine. Okay. So no, you don't have to have hazmat. What I believe, though, and it's because just from the people who I've talked to, and from drivers that I've talked to, so I don't quote me as this being 100% for everybody, okay? But from what I understood is that they don't have to have hazmat, but they have to have a TWIC card because they have to get into the ports. And so that, yes, you may need to get the twit card. And guys, if you're have some extra information to add to the intermodal thing, I would really like to chime in on that and pick your brain a little bit. Tarps rolling in the heat is the best. Yeah, can you imagine? Those tarps. They get frozen too. And you can hear them just cracking when they're open. Just when they're doing it. I'm going, oh, glad that ain't me. That's pretty bad. That's pretty rough, man. I don't want to mess with that kind of stuff in the cold. When there's heat, I'll do it and then go in there and cool off a little bit and go back out there and finish. But at least I ain't got to worry about, stumping my toe. That's cray. What should Swift do to fix their communication problem? Answer the damn phones, man. I don't even care. Man, I'm tell you something. One time, I was. Excuse me. I'm starting. That's a sore spot for me. So let me woosah for a minute. The only times that I have ever wanted to quit, straight up quit, Swift. 3 times I was really tempted to quit. 2 of those times had to do with the fact that they wasn't communicating, okay? And it pretty much happened the same way. So I'm at the shipper, okay? I'm not the shipper, I'm sorry. I'm at the receiver. And it's Saturday. I deliver, and I sent the macro 6. Macro 6 means that it means it's an empty call. What it means is that you have dropped off you have basically completed the load. So you're now empty. However, I was not, okay? I sent that knowing that I would be empty in a very short period of time. Within the next 10 minutes, I was going to be finished. I mean, I was probably, hooking up to the trailer or something like that. And before I did that, I sent the macro, and then I went and done everything, pre-tripped the empty trailer, and hooked up and did all that, got back in truck, and still had not been dispatched on the next load. So I sent a macro 0, which is a free form letter saying, hey, please dispatch me on the next load. And then it dawned on me, well, the load that I was on, the current load was it was set up for a live unload. However, it was actually a drop and hook. So whenever you do that, the computer goes, they're supposed to be dropping that trailer. No, call somebody. Oh my God. So I thought about this. Wait a minute. That's why it didn't auto dispatch. I sent a macro 0. Okay, again, and this one said, customer request, drop and hook, new trailer number or empty trailer number, so and so and so, please attach and dispatch the next load. So that's what I sent on the second one. 20 minutes later, nothing. I'm actually called when I sent the 0, so I'm actually on hold the same time that nobody's responding. So it's about 20, 30 minutes. And I said, forget this, man. I'm going to start driving towards, because this isn't going to change. They're not going to unload the trailer that I just dropped off. There's nobody here for that. They don't do that on the weekends. Therefore, it is what it is. They're just going to have to fix it, which they do. They'll just go in there and change it to a drop and hook, and they'll add your empty on to you. They'll attach your empty to you, and then dispatch the next load. So I'm heading towards the next customer. And the next customer is like 30 miles or so, 40 miles down the road, less than an hour drive, right? So surely by the time I get to my customer, they would have communicated with me. And remember, I got the phone on speaker. I'm listening, waiting for them to, thank you for calling Swift Transportation. Somebody will be right with you. That's bullshit, but just hang in there. And then you listen to that horse shit, right? So I drove to the customer. I'm sitting at the customer now. So I've driven like 45 minutes. And now I'm sitting outside the customer, but I can't go in there because I can't send my macro one saying that I arrive at the customer yet because I'm not on that load. I actually have to be actively on the next load before I can say that I've arrived at my next load, right? So I'm sitting outside the customer waiting for them to respond, and it's like an hour, or better. And I'm on hold for that long too, so I hadn't gotten a phone call response. I hadn't gotten a response from the Qualcomm. So finally, somebody on the Qualcomm says, "What trailer do you have?" Oh my God. I just sent a macro zero saying what trailer I got. Okay, anyways, trailer numbers, that's what I got. Then they send a response back. There's supposed to be a live unload. You have to do a live unload. Send a message back. I said, customer does not have anyone there to unload me. They requested for a drop and hook. I got a new empty. This is the empty number. Please dispatch next load. What trailer you got? Trailer numbers, blah, 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 blah. Now you wait. And I put on there, please, somebody, I send a zero. Please, somebody just dispatch me. Somebody sent me and they said, did I approve my logs? That's what it was. I approved my logs an hour and a half ago. I'm really, 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 really twisted now because once you start the 14, you can't unstart it. So then somebody says, why didn't you get unloaded? Why didn't you do a live unload or something like that? And I went nuts. I was pissed then. I was pissed. Now, and I typed something in there I probably shouldn't. Something along the line of, who am I talking to? And, I kind of went off via text on this Qualcomm. I wish you would just call me because this thing. And then I started looking through the messages, and as it turns out, the person that I was going off on, they didn't even know that I'd sent all those other messages because it's a different person. Every person I talked to was somebody else, man. That's why they kept asking me the same stupid ass questions over and over and over again. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on the side of the road, can't get into the shipper because I can't get fucking dispatched. And that's crazy. And that wasn't that was I can't say the first time it happened, but it was the first time it pissed me off. And I was so hot. If I'd have been in Texas, near Texas, I probably would have got me a rental car and get all my crap out of that truck left right there outside the road. I was twisted. The second time I wanted to quit Swift is the same damn thing happened again. The last time was last Friday, for last when I came home. And Swift called me on the phone. It was HR, and the guy on HR was just talking to me. I mean, talking to me like I was, like a criminal or something. This dude was just ringing and acting a fool, and he was talking really, 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 really crazy. And they were questioning me about some stupidness that had to do with another Swift employee, which happened to have been one of my past students. And it turns out that this same person that talked to them, and that this person, my student, had called them asking for help with an issue, and they treated my student the same way. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people? And I don't have to be talked to that way. I can just pack my shit and leave. I ain't got to listen to your bullshit. So that was the third time. But, I'm chilling now. I'm home. I'm relaxed. So all these companies, man, can have some jacked up ass time. Right? Some things are good, some things ain't, Yeah, he said maybe because Swift's so big, it hinders effective communication. You would think that a company that big would have the resources to do better. It's just, I would expect this type of communication from a company that's small and they can't afford to have multiple people available, on nights and weekends. But Swift has those resources. I was talking to a guy. He says I got 111 trucks or something like that. 111 trucks out of wherever he was that I was talking to him from, that he was having to deal with on top of, outside calls like myself. And I was like, all by yourself? He said, yeah. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. There's too many people, too many trucks, too many things that need to be done for one person to have that much responsibility, man. They need to have a few people that do that. That's crazy. Um, Trucking Eddie, hello 50, my brother. I just finished my first week at Phoenix Academy. Any words of wisdom? Keep on trucking, keep on pushing, and get where you, get to where you, first thing you want to do, goal after goal after goal. We set goals, and then we reach those goals, and we set the next one. Okay, and each one of those goals should be a milestone to meet your optimum end game, what it is that you really want. And I hope you already figured that out. With trucking, what's your optimum end game? My end game is to build a trucking company for my son. That's what's going to happen. Eventually, that's what's going to happen. But it's going to take time because he has to be able to make it successful. If I was to check out here, the day after I set him up, if I don't set him up right, meaning I didn't reach those goals along the way, then he'll quickly lose it all. So, what's the goals? The goals are, to reach these certain plateaus. And for you, the first goal should be to acquire that CDL, get out of that school successfully, and get that CDL license in your pocket. Okay, that is goal number one, optimum thing for you right now. Is to make sure that you get that CDL in your pocket. That is a golden ticket, and you're going that it will make you a very happy person. Put it to you that way. Okay, so you can do it. Do that first. Other than that, just because the vehicle that you're going to ride in, okay, that you're going to maneuver down the road has Swift on the side, you're going to have hurdles to jump just because it says Swift on the side, which is a bunch of bullshit. But get beyond that, and focus on your end game, what you want out of trucking, and no matter what, don't let anybody talk you out of that. Okay, reach your goals because that's what you want. Okay, no matter what we do in life, I don't care if you're a lawyer. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're a dentist. I don't care if you paint the house numbers on the curbs. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care if you flip burgers. I don't care what you do for a living. You should have some goals in life, okay? And those goals is what helps all successful people be successful, okay? It's not that successful people are successful because of some mystical thing, or that they're lucky, or they was born with a silver spoon. I was not. But what makes people successful is because they know how to be successful. That might sound like you probably thought, well, he's setting me up to listen to something extremely mystical. It is cumbersomely simple on how to build wealth and how to be successful. It's cumbersomely simple. That's the reason people keep tripping over it, because it is so cumbersomely simple. Set goals. Set realistic goals that take effort to reach them. Okay. So I could make a goal to, finish this in 30 minutes. That's nothing. In 30 minutes, I just shut it off. That goal doesn't take effort to get there. So right now we have 6 people watching. So if I said my goal is to someday do one of these podcasts with uh, 100 people watching, that isn't a goal that is unrealistic to reach. Okay, but it does take effort to get there. So that's a little different, right? And it's the same thing with your uh, with your trucking thing. Okay, and another thing is goals need to be written down. Write them down. Use paper. Don't. I'm gonna type it into my phone. No, you want to take the pen and paper, and as you write what what goals you want, the first thing is you're gonna write the goal at the top, and then you're gonna write the things that it's gonna take you to get to that goal. What your achievements are gonna be, and uh, in each one of those achievements, those are going to be individual goals, and then each individual goal needs to have a time frame. How long is it going to take you to reach the goal? Reasonable time frame, and then after you've reached that, uh, or set that up, then in that course of action to reach that goal, each one of those courses of action needs to have a time frame on it, and a plan to reach each milestone until you complete that goal. If you can do that, it sounds really easy. It sounds real cumbersome, and that's because most people fail at doing or achieving their goals because either they're not realistic goals, or they don't know how to set those milestones to get to it. Okay, so just be cautious, move slow enough, but keep moving. Okay, success means you have um, you have reached a positive part of whatever it is that you wanted to do. Okay, that's success. I mean, you might say that you someday want to, get a doctor's degree. Okay, and by the time you pass away, you were working on your doctoral thesis, but you hadn't finished it yet. And people say, well, he failed at becoming a doctoral, becoming getting his doctoral degree. But in actuality, you did not fail, because when you passed away, you was actively achieving positive steps towards your goal. You see, and so that is on the path to success. That's cool. You doing it, brother. And so keep that up. Just a sec, I am. That's cool. What are you doing over there, Siri? Siri is talking to me. Barbecue truckers finding empty trailers used to be a challenge back in the day. It still is. Oh my God. By the way, by the way, uh, my phone number's on the screen there. You guys can give me a call. We're gonna talk for another probably 15 minutes. We've been at it for 54 minutes, so we're gonna talk about another 15 minutes. But somebody want to call? I figured out. Well, I didn't figure it out. I told you that this stuff is kind of like just duplicated in a smaller version of what I have at the other studios. And my son came over and said, "Push this button." So like I pushed the button. I was like, oh, okay, that's how that works. I don't know this stuff. I don't know how to do it. But they did tell me one thing to not do, and that is touch this thing after they set it up for me. And it seems to be working out. It seems to be working out pretty good, because my voice seems to be coming in and out pretty good. It's not cracking and popping and any of that kind of stuff. And um, and everything seems to be pretty cool. But they got it up on my deal where my phone number is on there. So if you guys want to call me, I want to stay on for like another I'm gonna give it. Let's give it 10 minutes or so. Okay. We've been on for 55 minutes, and we still got 3 people in. So I'm gonna uh, let it stay on for a little while, and uh, if anybody want to give me a call, I'm gonna try to test it out and see if I can get you on the air. So we'll see when you give me a call, right? And if it works. So right now, yeah, it's on. So if anybody wants to call me, you can call me. I should have said that a long time ago while I was running my mouth, but I guess y'all can see online there. And just so you guys know, once we're done, two of you guys here now boring the hell out of you running my mouth. Um, um, After the show's over, that number that you call right now, that phone, I turn that phone off. So as soon as I check out, I turn that phone off because I don't want to answer that phone. Let me see what happens here. Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I certainly can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, this is the barbecue trucker.
Hey, brother, how are you?
Ah, doing good, doing good.
And you can hear me well?
I, I can't hear you real great on this end, but it's not bad. I have
Okay.
my volume on the computer turned down, so I don't know how they can hear me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you're gonna be coming in pretty good, and I'm gonna kick you up just a little bit more on the going out that way, just in a case they can't hear you. So, how is it going down there in Central Texas?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. It was kind of cold the last couple of days, but it's a beautiful day today. About 68, sunny. Been happy about my Baylor Bears.
you know, there used to be uh, Texas State Technical College is down there right now, and it's not far from. It's in Waco. It's not far from Baylor, and it was used to be called TSTI. That's what it was
Yes,
used to be,
yes. I
and
graduated from their plumbing program and then found out I couldn't stand getting under houses.
well, I graduated from their auto mechanics class, and then found out down the road that I didn't like getting the houses either. I don't like it either, but you know. That was a pretty cool school, and but when I graduated, they turned it into uh, the junior college. So instead of getting like a certificate, I actually got a associate degree coming out of there. And then later, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go back to college and get a degree. Okay, and found out that zero of those credits were transferred. So
Right, right. I'm actually shocked that ATES, American Truck Driving School, didn't partner with them.
well, I know that they've been around quite a long time, and I didn't know if they had a truck driving a part of it when I was there, but they had a lot of different technical training that you can get there, and I don't know that they have truck driving there.
No, no, and that's what I say. I'm surprised that American Truck Driving School didn't like partner with them.
Huh. Well, because they probably didn't want to share the money. I'm sure.
Probably because American Truck Driving School's there in Elmont.
Yeah, yeah. That I don't know. You know, after going being you taking the route that I've taken with Swift, and I kind of find out some things on the backside of it, and some of that is um, you can go to these truck driving schools, and if it's not through a legit junior college, a lot of trucking companies they don't really they don't like it too much.
Well, I was thinking about doing that and all that, but I actually have probably over 1.5 million safe driving miles in a truck, and it's been over 10 years though since so I have to start over. So I'm actually going to go into it as if I don't know anything, because everything is so different now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what did you haul when you were doing
Oh,
it 10 years ago?
everything. I worked 3 years for a flatbed company out of my hometown of Hamilton, hauling wood molding, and I worked for several years for CFI,
Uh huh.
hauling mainly auto parts up to Canada,
Yeah.
and I worked for Covenant
Yeah. They're
and
still around.
several others.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got quite, and then the last part of it was oil field, hauling tankers.
Right. Right. Out of flatbed and tanker and all field thing, what do you think? What would if you had a choice to go into either one of them right now? What would you do?
I'm interested in going reefer, just because I haven't done much of that.
Right. Right. You know, I did all. I was only doing flatbed. I mean, not flatbed. I'm sorry. I only doing dry van. But when I became a mentor, we started moving a little too quick for the company, so they had me do dry van only while my student was in their 50, get their first 50. But whenever I decided to make them go teams, then we went reefer, and I kind of like the reefer better.
Yeah,
Um,
well, it pays a little more. I don't know if from what I'm hearing, the mileage is also pretty good from what I'm hearing from some other Swift drivers.
yeah, yeah. It's the when you're not dedicated, it's the downtime. Washouts and the you waiting to get empty and waiting to get loaded. It's a little more of that than, of course, drive in, and that's where a lot of people try to stray away from it. However, the company does compensate you for that.
Right, right, right. And like I say, I've got to start back over and get my CDL. I'm gonna tell you, 50 plus. When I first got my CDL was back in 1980. I took it in a pickup with a gooseneck trailer. I went out with 2 days in an old 1962 International D, pulling
Uh,
probably 140,000 pounds of dry cement for Halliburton, and then I was turned out on my own. And that is all the training I've ever had.
wow,
Yeah,
wow. And today, it just let. I hope we only have a few people in watching right now. Hopefully, people turn back and watch it, or else I'm going to clip this out because I really, really wish people could hear that. Because right now, I get people crying and moaning and groaning about how much training a driver should have with their mentor right now, and that the mentor should be just focused on just them, that student driver the whole time, and in order for me to be successful, and that's just not true. And in your case, you didn't even get that.
right.
And then you got a million safe miles. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is the driver behind the wheel and your mentality, and your you just wanting to be safe, and so you did. You were safe, you
Well,
know.
most likely I'm going to have more mileage wise and time wise experience than my mentor, but I'm not going into it with that attitude.
Right.
I'm going into it because there is so much things that are different now than when I drove last over the road, and things that are a lot better. The trucks are better. They're more comfortable. GPS, you're not going to get lost as often. Just a lot of things that I really like. I think I'm going to like the e-logs, to be honest with you.
I bet, because that was going to be my next question. Uh, before before I did this, I hosted my shows for my um, before my youth sports business, and that's when I started doing all this video stuff when doing that. And so when one thing I learned about interviewing people is to stay ahead of the question. And so so I was going to ask you about e-logs, and when you were doing it, you were doing paper logs, and I was gonna be my next thing. So, and I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you, what do you do? What was the worst thing about doing paper logs, and then I'm gonna ask you what was the best thing about doing paper logs.
Well, the worst thing about doing paper logs, in my opinion, was the fact that now a lot of companies wouldn't allow it, but and certain companies would. You could cheat. I mean, I knew people that run several logbooks. Hell, I had hard enough time running one. Now with the major carriers, you really couldn't do that because you had to turn your logs in, and you'd get in trouble if your logs weren't, exactly what you did, because they could go back to fueling times and actually toll booth times to check you. And
Yeah.
but there was a guy I worked for out of Hamilton that, I left with him. He told me, you better have 2 or 3 logbooks, and he was like trying to run me, 27 hours a day, and I didn't feel safe. I quit him after like 3 days, and I said I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So I think, I'm just one of the few that thought there needed to be a better way, because I didn't want to be pushed into the point where I was dangerous. And I think e-logs have eliminated a lot of that.
Yeah, and I think it has a whole lot to do with e-logs had a whole lot to do with not bad drivers, but greedy companies. And I believe,
Right, exactly.
yeah, I think it was the e-logs were invented to, and their purpose was to, of course, they're going to pitch it as uh, 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 to increase safety for the general public, but I believe more than that, it was to protect drivers from injuring themselves because of
Exactly. And
fatigue,
another
because they
thing
were
back
forced to
back
do
when
it.
right, another thing back when I drove, and this doesn't really have anything to do with e-logs, but because it would be the same either way. They did not have the 34-hour reset. You worked off your recap all the time. There was no such thing as a 34-hour reset.
Really?
Right.
So, I mean, if you were driving and then Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday you stayed home, and when you finished on Friday, you let's say you ran uh, 74 hours, which means you at least ran 4 hours of recap time. On Monday, when you return to work, you would still have like 74. It'll never start over.
No, no, and then the only way for it to reset over was to have 8 straight days off.
Holy smokes! Really?
Yeah, I'm serious. I think the 34-hour restart is a great thing from what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
But no, you couldn't reset your logbook. Everything went back to that 8th day, and you could only do, if you were bumping your hours, you could only do the 8th day what you did the last 8th day. If you did 7 hours that day, you only had 7 hours for that next 8th day. If
Wow.
you were if you'd run your hours up,
You know.
and you could run out of hours really easy if you wasn't careful.
Wow. Wow. And so hence the other logbook.
Right. Exactly.
you
Now
know,
you see why they were running more than one
you're
logbook, because I mean,
right. And when you don't have that knowledge, you believe that those books are uh, having a second book was for mediocre little things, but I never knew that there was never a 34-hour reset. I didn't
no,
know, and that's why.
another thing back then, if you started your time
Uh huh.
and for your day, if you went off duty, it didn't count on your daily time. I'm hearing that today, like on your 14-hour time, once
Yeah,
you start,
it don't
even your
stop.
30-minute break counts against that
Yep,
14 hours, doesn't it?
this sure does. And that you talking about horrible. If there's one thing that I want to change, that I would want to change, um, is definitely that. Because if you can go that .gov, and I forgive me, can't say it right now, because I can't remember, but if you go to the FMLA, they got a little polling thing that they have for what the changes that are posted,
Right.
and one of the changes is that you are able to stop your 14-hour clock, and you know it
It
sucks.
needs to.
I mean, it sucks. You can be on time to a shipper. So I want the typical day would be, I'm going to drive as hard as I can today, and I'm gonna get right outside of my shipper's or my receiver's door for tomorrow. And then at my appointment time, I'm gonna go on duty 30 minutes before my appointment time, do my pre-trip or whatever, and then drive right into there and get started on my live unload. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm stacked, and my next job, my next load, I want to be able to go pick it up and forward that load some. Okay.
Right.
But when you get up in the morning and you start that 14-hour clock, and then you go over there to that shipper, and the shipper says, you go over there and park and wait until we call you before we start unloading you. You get out, you go over there and you park. You may be parked for 3 or 4 hours before they can get to you. And now you got 10 hours on your 14 because you cannot stop that 14-hour clock.
Well, we used to always log loading time as off duty. We never logged it on duty, or it was always logged off duty. And we didn't have a 14-hour day either. We had an 11-hour day.
Wow.
Back then, you could still drive 10, and then you had to have an 8-hour break. And a lot of times, you know, like I would drive a lot of times where I would take off and drive for like 4 hours, and then I'd go into the sleeper for like 3 or 4 hours, take me a little nap if I could afford to do it, and then keep going. And that sleeper burst stopped your time.
No, not anymore. Because I'm really hoping that they fix that. That's one thing that I really have an issue with, and I just don't believe that it should be counted against you for the time you spend waiting for someone else to do their job, and you're doing nothing but sitting in behind. You know, you could be laying in a sleeper watching a movie or something. I mean, whatever, but you're not on duty, and if you're not on duty, why is it counting against your 14? It's ridiculous.
Well, I think it's going back. I think it kind of goes to the deal is that a lot of companies paid attention. You know,
correct.
Like after 2 hours, and you are supposed to legally, by law, log anything that you're being paid for as on duty, not driving.
That's right. That's right. And but at the end of it, I would rather than to have that little bitty money they're going to give me for detention time. I would rather have that as drive time.
Exactly.
You know, be able to, because I can make more.
As you can see, I'm gonna have a lot to learn. Coming back.
Right. But just this period of time that we've been talking, I've learned some stuff, and because of the experience that you had, we don't rely on paper logs anymore. But just what this conversation has gave me a different insight on why e-logs are what they are, and why those drivers back in the day used multiple books.
Right. Well, I remember Werner being one of the first companies to actually use them before they were mandated.
Yeah, and I could probably see a good reason for that, especially in a company that size, is to be able to electronically keep up with all of those logs. Was much simpler than having the driver bring in their books and then manually having to go through all of that, reading all that raggedy writing. And I mean, it could be just a plethora of stupidness. So my Qualcomm, and by the way, guys, and I talk to my mentor every day. Okay, so I hadn't been in the truck since last Friday, and Friday before last actually, and he said all week last week they were using paper logs because Qualcomm, the company, was down.
Yes, a lot of them, they were having to, and when that happens, you've got to go back and figure your last 7 or 8 days and actually do your paper log for those 7 or 8 days. If DOT can't pull it up on that computer, you've got to have it on paper, is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, and this was not even company wide. This was every truck that had Qualcomm, no matter what company it was.
It was nationwide.
Yes, that was absolutely horrible. I mean, and then guys having to go back and use paper logs now because they didn't know, and then they didn't even know how. I can
It was
imagine.
rumored that the time change kicked that off, but I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, yeah, that's you get a lot of conspiracy theories. Oh my God, with 1999, and people jumping off of bridges and everything. Talking about when the
The world's
2000
coming to an
coming.
end.
Yeah, it's funny. There's people that will listen to this conversation and will not remember what when we said, in 1999 when people were thinking that airplanes was going to fall out of the sky and people emptied their bank accounts and all that stuff because they thought that tragedy was going to happen at midnight when it went to 2000. Remember? And
Right.
there's people right now that'll listen to this, and they weren't
Yeah,
even alive. They weren't
then the
even
Mayan
alive.
calendar ended and we were all gonna die.
Yeah, yeah. It was crazy. It is 12 o'clock 01, man, and everybody was going, oh, nothing happened. That was crazy.
I stayed up for it just to see.
Yeah.
I said, well, I want to be awake if I'm gonna die. I want to be awake, I guess,
Yeah,
for this
man.
one.
Nobody wanted to fly. The planes were gonna fall out of the sky. I mean, conspiracy theories is so funny.
Oh, it was funny.
Yeah, and it might have been a time change issue. And my question is, if that's the case, then why did that not happen all the other times? Times has
Right, right.
changed.
Well, yeah, last time when it did it, I don't
Yeah,
know. Who knows?
you're
But
right.
there's other differences. Like when I used to drive over the road, there wasn't a such thing as reserved parking, and parking has always been a problem. And I'm thinking now with the way the e-logs are and your 14-hour day and reserve parking and all that, trip planning is going to be a must. You're going to have to really be good at trip planning.
Yeah, and now I will say with the way Swift runs, and I'm certain that other companies the same way. There's so much time built into the runs that if you are driving diligently, you'll be able to get to a safe place to park fairly early and fairly easily if you are driving. Unless you run into something cray cray. But uh, most of the runs are pretty good, and they'll even when you're dispatched and you start in you hadn't started yet, but I know you're gonna be starting sometime real soon, right?
January, what I'm planning on. As long as they're still hiring, I heard they've kind of slowed down on their hiring.
Way down, way slowed down, and if you can get in faster than that, then I'd jump on it so that way you could actually be in. But whenever you get out there, you get on the Mentor's truck, you'll excuse me, you'll see that they dispatch you, and they dispatch that load. They're gonna dispatch somewhat of a pre-plan on you, and it'll kind of let you know what time you're gonna be parking and stopping and all that. If you're not good at doing your own trip plan, you end up having to do your own anyway, because they're telling you that you should stop driving at this time because your clock will be over, doesn't mean that you're going to be in a area where there's a place for you to stop. So you still have to do it.
Well, does it seem like a lot of drivers are actually using that reserved parking?
Yes, depending on where they're at. But
Right.
most of the time, I parked. I did a lot of. I'm still on the Costco account, and I take the same routes every day, so I know exactly which places I want to stop and park. But when I was OTR, I had to look on Trucker Path and find a spot to park, and if it says some parking still on there, and it says some parking for a little while, then I would call ahead or use the app and buy a reserved spot. Then I quit
Right.
doing that. I quit doing that because it would say like some spots, and then I would get there and I thought I'd use my points or use or pay cash. for a parking spot. Then I get there, and there's like 50 parking spots, and then that I could have parked in and not paid the $12 for the.
That's aggravating.
Yeah, why come they put some parking on here when there's a bunch of spots? There's places 20% full, and 10 minutes ago somebody said some parking. Crazy.
Right.
So
Well,
now I just wait till I
you,
get there.
I am anxious to get out there. The only reason I always have a bunch of orders for turkeys and hams during Thanksgiving and sometimes during Christmas. And I don't have much. I've got one biker wedding that I've got to do in the first part of December. And believe me, you don't want to back out on the bikers.
Right,
But,
right, right.
and then I could have started, but I thought, why start then and then have to just stop in the middle for the Christmas break? That's why I picked January to start.
Yeah, yeah, and you'll do pretty good. You'll have plenty of opportunity afterwards.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm a worry wart. As you know, I was worrying about the sleeping, the team driving while with a mentor, because
right.
I used to have trouble sleeping in a truck. But I mean, I guess now I could take an Ambien and go to sleep. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and it each scenario is a little different. I just got a call from one of my other students. His name was Jasani, and Jasani uh, started with England, and they got those triple bunk
Ugh.
trucks, and those trucks never ever 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 stop. I think they fuel them like jets, man. I mean, just another truck pulled next to it and dump fuel in it. It ain't that bad, but it's pretty close. But that joker learned how to sleep while that truck was moving. He had no problem. Um, and also another of my students, Stephen, he had no problem. He could sleep while that truck was rolling, no problem. And but I had a couple of students that absolutely could not, couldn't do it. And
Right.
so we would team drive, but not full team.
Right, right. I know what you're
Yeah.
saying. I know exactly what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure Swift doesn't want them out there being dangerous or anything. And what's wild is I trained at CFI, and at first I didn't have a problem, and it just all of a sudden it got to where I found myself sleeping in the passenger seat more than in the bunk.
Right. Right. And uh, but here's the problem, and this is some things that a lot of people, I got reamed about when I had a student who was having issues driving in the snow, and they were saying, well, when somebody can't drive, they don't feel safe. You're supposed to pull over and take over. You shouldn't make them drive in the, bad conditions or whatever, right?
Right, right,
Well, just so that they know, here's the DOT rule. Okay, uh, there's 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 day cab rules and there's sleeper rules. So if the truck has a sleeper, then you are driving. Oh, I'm sorry. If the truck has a sleeper and you're using day cab rules, which is what we use when you are in your first 50.
right.
Okay, so that means that there is no sleeper, even if it's back there, that you don't consider that area behind you because you're going to use day cab rules. So there is no sleeper. That means both drivers must be on duty at the same time. So
Correct.
so that means my student is driving. My student is on duty driving. Okay, and I, as their mentor, am on duty not driving.
Correct.
Okay, so we're driving down the road. If in any time after 2 hours, I or my student goes off duty or to the sleeper, I'm sorry, goes off duty, period, then
Right.
that person have to remain off duty for 8 consecutive hours.
Correct.
Okay, so if the student is driving down the road and they start wigging out, I can't say pull over, let me drive for 10 minutes and get us out of this, and then get back over and let you drive again. You cannot do that.
Right, right.
That's right, because DOT says when y'all switched, because that person has driven for longer than 2 hours, they have to go to the sleeper. They can't go on duty not driving or off duty not driving. They have to go to the sleeper or they are
Right.
in DOT violation. And
Yeah, yeah.
that's what people don't really don't get. There's a lot of different rules that you can't violate when you're driving with a student. So now, why am I saying that or bringing that up? It's because when you're riding with a mentor and both people in that truck has a CDL, they are both are subject to e-log. They have to be on log. If their time has to be logged, okay? And so let's say you drive your shift, you drive 8 or 10 hours, okay? And the
Uh huh.
whole time we've gotten past the 50 hours. So and you're my student, and you drove until your time expired. Now you're gonna do your post trip, and you go into the sleeper, okay?
Uh huh.
Now it's my turn to start driving, so I go on duty, and then I start driving. After 2 hours, you can no longer sit in that passenger seat. DOT say you must go to the sleeper berth. You cannot sit in that passenger seat because we're not using sleeper berth. Day cab rules. So
Right.
pulling into a DOT check station, if they see a person in that passenger seat, they want to know that person got a CDL. Yes, that person can come in here and bring their log. And they look on that log, and turns out 3 hours ago you went off duty to the sleeper, but you're seen sitting in that passenger seat. To
Then you're in
them,
violation.
you are 100% right. You are in violation because to them you're performing duty. You're on duty. You're doing work, and you can't do that. You have to go to the bunk.
Right, right.
You see,
Well,
and
I
people,
see how that works now. That's a
yeah,
lot to learn for me. There's going to be a lot to learn. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
yeah. I man, people call me all kinds of raggedy, and the deal is they don't know the rules, and I don't spend a lot of time explaining it to people who are angry, but I will spend some time explaining it to people who want to learn it. And so, in our case, if you can't sleep while that truck is going, then after you drive, I'll drive for 2 hours, or in the morning I'll drive 2 hours, and then I will then um, go on duty, not driving. Then you get out of the sleeper and start driving. Okay, you go out of duty, you come on duty, and then you become the active driver and drive all of your time out. So what that does is give us an extra 100 miles or so because each day. So if
Uh
you can
huh.
drive 600 miles, I just increased that to 700. And if I did that 7 days a week, I add 700 miles to the paycheck. So, you know, but when you're done, we're done driving. So at the end of your period, your driving period, then we both go to the sleeper. The truck ain't moving. We both get to sleep, and you can sleep
Exactly.
without the truck. And I didn't know I didn't make as much as I could have, but I made more than I would have if I'd have drove solo. And
Exactly.
so
Correct.
there's ways to manipulate the system if everybody worked together, where a student who cannot drive or go to sleep while that truck's rocking, to make it work, you know. So
Right.
and contrary to popular belief, no company that I know of, definitely I'm gonna speak on Swift. I can tell you that Swift does not make a mentor drive teams. That is completely up to the mentor.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yep,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I better get off here 50 plus.
I'm
I
glad
sure
you called
enjoyed
me, man.
talking with you.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
called me.
And I'll try to think of some stuff to bring up on your next live that we can discuss that maybe we can keep a lot of these other people interested in.
Yeah, yeah. You don't hear me. You don't people hear me just yapping all the time. And this and you know, the last time I had a phone call, it didn't come through very well. But my boys
Right.
came over there. They set it up for me. So that's why I'm not really touching anything. I'm just answering the phone. So if they were here, I'd be fiddling with stuff. Well, actually, they would. But it was working out really good. Now the next time, I'm gonna start the phone calls earlier.
Right, and we'll have a lot more to talk about once I get into because I'll be going to Corsicana,
It's a lot of
and
fun over there.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we'll and like I'm just going to drive my own vehicle up
That,
there. I'm going to go ahead and get my learner's permit and my physical
right.
done before I get there.
Right.
That took your advice from one of your very first videos,
Yeah. And
and
it's gonna be so much better. So much better.
right,
I,
right. No,
I
I'm looking forward to it.
I appreciate the call, brother. We're gonna talk
Oh, you
later.
bet.
Alrighty.
You bet. You've really helped me out. We'll talk soon.
Thank you now, brother.
All right.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye. Yeah, Josh. I don't know anyone can sleep by bouncing down the road. Let me tell you something, brother. Man, look, those trucks, especially when you are heavy, when you got a good load, man, you can hit some bumps in the road that will, your foot off that mattress when you come back down. There's some roughness, man, and then this bang bang again when that trailer comes in. Ugh, it can get rough. It can, but I will tell you this too now, brother. Get sleepy. You get sleepy. After you get through bouncing, then you bounce again. You look around, make sure the truck's still upright. Right back to sleep again. That's for sure. I'm on day 3 for Swift. Todd, glad you're doing it, man. And you made a good choice. Swift is a damn good company to work with. You know, I've been screaming that for a long time, and I will continue. The day will come when I'm doing something different. Working for somebody else, working for myself. Driving somebody different. But guess what? I'm gonna still say the same thing. Swift Transportation was good to me, brother. They are. They're good people, man. I enjoy it. So, guys, I have been running my mouth for an hour and a half, and I'm pretty sure y'all got enough of me. And this live, I didn't announce this live, but I will on the next one, which is going to give you guys enough time to come in and listen to me yap from the start. I'm sure you guys were able to hear the phone call that time, and like I said earlier, my boys came by and fixed my mixer and told me don't touch it, just start talking. and it did. It worked out really good. I mean, I don't do the video stuff. That's my boys. That's what their job is. We have another business. We talked about that already. And they set all this stuff up. So now the phone thing is working. I think after I play it back, I can listen to the barbecue trucker and make sure that the phone call came through good. And if so, I want to do more of those with you guys calling me, and let's let these lives be a little bit more interactive. So that being said, I will send out one of those little, hey, I'm going to be live and yapping at you guys shortly. And so, we're going to have some fun and get some, information to you guys pretty quick. So do you think it's smart to start training in the winter? Hell yeah. Yes. If anybody is considering getting into transportation, if you can start your training right now, do it. Swift doesn't pay. They don't pay those little bonuses anymore for bringing in new students. Okay, so I don't get paid extra for telling you guys to get started right now. Come on. So this is not a money-driven thing. I'm telling you, if you can start trucking right now, do it. Do it. Drive with someone who can help you get through this winter. Sitting right next to you, telling you what to do, answering those questions that you may have, then trust me, you're gonna have them. You know, you'd be surprised how much your brain becomes a sponge when your sphincter tightens up this tight because you don't know if you're gonna slip off the road or that's black ice up there or that's just regular ice. What you know? But when you have someone that can spell some wisdom to you while you're learning, that's when you want to do it. Because if you can learn how to drive through the winter months, everything else is a cakewalk. Everything else is a cakewalk. So I don't care what company you're going with. This doesn't have to do with anything about putting anything in my pocket. Okay? Thanks tonight. I don't know, man. All I know is, they cut way back. And that being said, I was doing a giveaway. So whenever you guys came in, y'all would say, hey, 50 Plus sent me. And then after you got off the Mentor's truck, I would send you a headset, which I can't do anymore because I was sending the headset with the money that they was giving me. They ain't giving me no money. And can you imagine me sitting out, all these freaking headsets, man, shoot. I'll be digging in my pocket. So, right now, guys and gals, right now, go get your CDL and get with a mentor and find somewhere in the snow where you can go driving. And I know it sounds, well, why would I do that, man? I want you to do it because I want you to get that experience with somebody else that can help you. I have a video on there, somewhere down in my feeds. I have some videos on there that talks about, it's actually my mentor is talking to me while I'm driving, and he's telling me how to drive in the snow. And you can almost not see it in front of you. It's really, really getting after it. But he stayed calm, and he talked me through it. And as soon as I got off my mentor's truck, they sent me straight up to the Northeast, bro. I spent all winter last winter solo driving. Ran off my mentor's truck, December, up there. Came home for Christmas, they sent me right back up there. I spent all winter in the Northeast in the snow, and I did fine. And it's because I was training with a mentor this time of the year last year. Renee, is that thing today? We had a guy at a home terminal upgrade October 10th, and he's, oh my goodness, he slid off the road. Man. So, Josh said they had someone from his home terminal that upgraded on October 10th, and they slid off the road November 3rd. First off, I sincerely hope that the guy who slid off the road is okay. So, Josh, if you know anything about that, please let me know. I hope he's okay. But it's just so easy to do. It's so easy to do. The company says, when I went to the company, I said, look, I want to do some safety videos on how to drive in the winter. And they said, well, we already have winter driving videos on the portal. So if you are a Swift driver, you can go to Swift University and you can see the videos they made about winter driving the snow. Everything they talk about is nothing but slow down. That's it. There was nothing in there about what to look for on the roads, how to install snow chains, when you should put snow chains on there, what are the snow chains actually used for, what are the company policies on driving in the snow and ice and weather conditions. None of that was on there. All it was look at this person wrecked out because they didn't slow down. That's it. And there's just not information on these things. And they kind of pull the rug out from me. They want me to do those safety videos. This is what they are, safety videos, because it's so much legal involved. They don't want to educate you because they don't. Once they educate you, they are now responsible for what they've told you to do, and it raises their liability. Sort of situation. It's just so in that case, you just don't inform people. You just don't teach them. You don't teach them because you're scared to teach them because they might come back and so you can, because they say, well, you told me to do it this way. Yeah, but you did it that way backwards. So now you're on the side of the road flipped over. Or they did exactly what you told them to do. So instead of them dying 6 months ago, they dead today. Well, there's something different between you teaching somebody to do something the right way and they doing it, and you teaching somebody to do things the right way and then they do it and do it wrong at the wrong times, or just he taught me how to drive in the snow, therefore, so let me clean it up. We teach you a video, produce a video to teach you how to drive in the snow, and you drive in a blizzard. What a family gonna say? He wouldn't have been out there driving in that blizzard if you hadn't taught him how to drive in the snow. You gave him a false sense of ability. Therefore, you're liable for that wreck out. So I can, what do you do? What do you do? I'm gonna give you information on how to drive down the road, and then say don't drive down the road. Because it's snowing. It's crazy. It's crazy. Why that guy drove off the side of the road? Why he slid off? I don't know, but again, I sincerely hope that he pulled it off. I hope he didn't didn't hurt himself too bad or anything like that. But I have seen some really, 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 really bad wreck outs in the snow. I've also seen a lot of bad wreck outs in the middle of summer. Steer tire blow. Whew, boy, it's a bad thing right there. Hot pavement do that. My mentor had a student get run over in the truck stop. There's a whole lot of crazy stuff that can happen, in this industry. But there's a whole lot of things crazy can happen if you was delivering mail. Somebody's chihuahua run out the house and run up your leg and snap your jugular vein, bite you in the neck. I don't know. All I'm saying is, there's a whole lot of cray-cray. But don't let that stop you from doing what you got to do. All right, guys. I sure appreciate everybody. I've been on there for a little while now. And again, what I was saying before, I will announce when I do my next live, and I'm not going to touch the settings. And as you can see, my boys got me talking into this microphone now instead of the lapel thing. So, but it seems to be working better. And so that being said, I will announce when I'm going to do my next live, which will be on Monday. And the way you guys know. And I want you guys to call in. You get some questions you want to ask. If you be able to call in, I'll put you online, and we'll be able to communicate better. Until then, Ubiest of the tubiest, the best YouTube subscribers on the planet. That's you. And I'm 50 plus. Deliver undistracted. I'll see y'all next time.